It's a great privilege for me to welcome you all again for Pathology Snippet 4 Multiple Endocrine Neoplasia Syndrome MCQs. Now, it's a great way of studying, especially for your entrances, that you read a topic or you read a chapter and you don't go for the next chapter immediately. You will obviously solve the MCQs, and more important than solving MCQs is to review those MCQs, because it's not important whether you got an MCQ correct or wrong. What is more important according to me is to understand why option number B, for example, is correct and why ACD are wrong. Because in your actual exam you may not get the same MCQ, but now we are seeing that topics are being repeated in entrance exams like NEET and INI-CET. So it's a good that's why I've included the section of MCQs in every snippet that I'm discussing. I request you to read the question, pause for 10 seconds, note down your answer, and then listen to my explanation. It will be very helpful if you do it that way. Let's go to the first MCQ. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, but for people who have missed the previous video, I would like to give the credit of reading MCQs to my DAMS pathology faculty, Dr. Sanjeev Chitragar sir. He teaches pathology really well, but his MCQ reading skills or technique is excellent. And we'll be reading and solving MCQs by his technique. So following Dr. Sanjeev Chitragar sir's technique, let's go ahead. His technique is: number one, read the last line of the question. Number two, read the options. By the options, guess which topic is this MCQ set from, or which chapter is this MCQ set from. Don't read the full question, because in the exam, like you can see on the screen, it's a very long question. If you keep reading it like a novel, only reading the question will take you 1 minute. Thinking about the question will take another minute, and maybe half a minute to actually mark the answer. So if you spend 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes on a question, you will have serious time issues in your exam. Let's follow his technique. Now, the most likely explanation for this boy's symptoms: A, MEN1, B, FBN1, C, NF1, D, RET. Okay, so they have asked me some genes, maybe a question on genetics, but I can see MEN1, which is there in a neuroendocrine tumor MEN. I can see NF1, which is there in neurofibromatosis 1, and I can see the RET proto-oncogene, which is involved in MEN2A and MEN2B. So most likely this question has come from a neuroendocrine tumor. See, just by reading the options, I have got an idea about from which topic has the question come from. Isn't this amazing, guys? Yes, I'm sure it is. So let's read the important keywords from this question. The important keyword in this question is only a single keyword, which is multiple nodules on his tongue. If you remember in the last snippet, I have shown you an image of mucosal neuromas. In that image, I have shown you that multiple mucosal neuromas are present classically in which disease? They're present classically in MEN2B. Very good. Very good. You've given the correct answer, everyone. MEN2B. So MEN2B is going to be the answer. Now, MEN2B is encoded by which gene? RET gene. So the answer of this question is D, RET. Moving on to the second MCQ, again following Sir's technique. Which of the following is the most likely etiology of this man's symptoms? A, enterotoxin production, B, protozoal infection, C, pseudomembranous colitis, D, neuroendocrine tumor. So reading the options, my brain is telling me that either this can be a question from neuroendocrine tumor or gastrointestinal system, because I'm seeing pseudomembranous colitis, enterotoxins. So it can either be food poisoning, it can be Staphylococcus aureus, and protozoal infections. We have many protozoa. So either neuroendocrine tumor or a gastrointestinal system. Now let's read the keywords. Now here the keywords are just two: watery diarrhea, intermittent facial flushing. Now, if you have read your pathology properly, you might have read in Robbins that watery diarrhea classically with intermittent facial flushing is a characteristic feature of vipoma. And I have discussed in men 1 that pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor is vipoma along with insulinoma, glucagonoma. Vipoma is also a pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. So the answer to this question is men 1. Because the answer is men 1, we all know it is a type of neuroendocrine tumor. So answer is option number D. Moving on to the ultimate MCQ of this pathology snippet. An abnormality in which of the following is most likely explanation of the woman's symptoms? A. Calcium sensing receptors. B. Chief cells. C. Parafollicular cells. D. Parathyroid hormone receptor. Now, just by looking at the options, I hope every one of you has guessed it correctly. Yeah, you have guessed it. I can see it in the chat box that this question is from endocrine system. More specifically, this question is either from thyroid or parathyroid. Okay. Now let's read the key points. The key points here are many. First key point is history of parathyroid tumors in her mother, maternal grandmother, and maternal aunt. This is first key point. Second key point, which actually gives away the answer, is FNAC of the thyroid nodule demonstrates amyloid deposits. Now, please understand, if your FNAC is showing you amyloid deposits, it is medullary thyroid carcinoma. And we have learned that medullary thyroid carcinoma is classically seen in MEN2A and MEN2B, more specifically MEN2 variety of multiple endocrine neoplasia. But the question is not asking you that. The question is very smart, and this is a USMLE question which I have taken, by the way. So they are asking you, okay, you have understood MEN2, okay, you have understood medullary thyroid carcinoma, but from where are these, say, so this is being by the parafollicular cells. If you know medullary thyroid carcinoma, parafollicular cells. So the answer to this question is option number C. I hope you have enjoyed this video and the 2 days of pathology snippets I'm covering. I would encourage you to tell me further 5 days topics, whatever topics you're finding difficult related to the diseases of pathology. I repeat, specifically to the diseases of pathology. If you're finding any topic difficult, or if you're finding the topic difficult to memorize, I request you to kindly comment us in this video. Now, as promised, I'm going to revise the visual mnemonics that I've discussed in the pathology snippet 3. The first mnemonic was the X-Men are dominant over villains. Ignore the word X here. X-Men is just for that movie. The mnemonic says that multiple endocrine neoplasia syndromes are autosomal dominant in inheritance. Mnemonic 2 is that the sum of men and the chromosome number is 12 except for men 4. For example, in men 1, the chromosome encoded is 11, so 1 plus 11 is equal to 12. For both men 2A and men 2B, that is men 2, that the chromosome encoded is 10, so 2 plus 10 is 12. The exception to this mnemonic is men 4, which is encoded by the chromosome number 12, so 4 plus 12 is equal to 16. And the third one is the visual mnemonic, which is men 1 having 3 P's, pituitary adenoma, pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor, and parathyroid hyperplasia. Then you are men 2A having 2 M's and 1 P. The 1 P is parathyroid hyperplasia and 2 M's are medullary thyroid carcinoma and tumor of the adrenal medulla. And men 2B having 3 M's, which is your mucosal neuromas, medullary thyroid carcinoma, and tumor of adrenal medulla. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed this video, please share this video with your friends of medical colleges, colleagues, and doctors so that they can enrich their understanding on the topic multiple endocrine neoplasia. This is an extremely important topic both for medicine and pathology. Thank you for patient listening. I'll be coming again tomorrow with a new topic with 2 videos of pathology snippets. Thanks a lot.